We're snowed in, it's too deep. There's no way the post trucks can drive through this. Elon, it's up to you now. Go, Elon, go! What? Elon? Elon, you gotta deliver the mail. Well, I guess that's why we have sled dogs, but not sled cats. Thanks, Elon, you're a good sport. Hey everyone, welcome back to Stamp Cat Stamps. And don't worry, my cat was not at all harmed during the making of that video. He was very generously compensated in the form of treats, and he's now back to his usual job of sleeping for 20 hours of the day. So today, we're diving into two incredible Canadian stamps that celebrate some of the most unusual mail delivery methods in our history. These two commemorative stamps were issued by Canada Post on May 13, 2011. They each have a face value of 59 cents. These stamps are a centenaire pair, which is a pair of stamps that are issued together but have different designs. In this case, the design continues from one stamp to the other to form one cohesive image. And the two stamps show some very unusual and interesting methods of mail delivery. Our first story takes place in the Magdalen Islands, or the Île de la Madeleine, an isolated archipelago in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. The islands are a part of the province Quebec. In the winter of 1910, disaster struck when the island's only undersea telegraph cable broke. That meant no way to request food, medicine, or supplies while the waters were impassable through the frozen winter ice. They waited for weeks, but when no word came from the mainland, the islanders made the decision to modify a Ponchon barrel, which is usually used for storing molasses, with a rudder and a sail that said Winter Magdalen Mail. They packed the barrel full of their letters explaining their situation and launched it into the icy waters on February 2nd, 1910. Amazingly, the barrel made its way over to Port Hastings in Nova Scotia, where it was found just over a week later by a man named Murdoch McIsaac. And here's the incredible part. He actually went to the post office and personally paid to have all 125 letters mailed. I had to look this up. Back then in 1910, the domestic letter postage rate was 2 cents per ounce. That means that mailing 125 letters cost him about $2.50, which was roughly a full day's wages at that time. Adjusted for inflation, that's about $66 in today's money. With the letters delivered, the outside world finally realized that the telegraph cable was broken, and they sent an icebreaker ship to deliver emergency supplies. That seems quite generous of Murdoch McIsaac. Would you spend a day's worth of pay to deliver a bunch of letters written by strangers? Well, it turns out one of the letters inside the barrel was offering the finder a reward for $30 to whoever found and posted the mail. That's over $2,000 in today's money. So while McIsaac's actions were generous, he did also end up with a pretty great payout when he later received his reward. While floating a barrel worked for one isolated coastal community, Canada's northern landlocked regions had an entirely different challenge. Massive amounts of snow made it impossible to reach these communities by road. Enter dog sled mail delivery. Before airmail took over in the 1920s, dog sled teams were the only way to get mail to remote communities during the winter. But what's even more amazing is that this tradition still exists today. Every year, mushers and their dog teams are temporarily sworn in as official mail carriers during the annual Gold Rush Trail Sled Dog Mail Run held in British Columbia. They transport real Canadian mail between the towns of Quesnel, Wells, and Barkerville.
So this event is designed to reenact the delivery methods of the past. The mail in these bags is currently under the protection of the federal law. It should be entrusted into the hands of postal workers. So in order to carry this mail, we must first have you sworn in as temporary letter carriers. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. To protect the mail entrusted to me. And to return it to the official postal representative on Sunday afternoon in Barkerville.
A very special thanks to Savannah Robinson for letting me share her footage from this year's event. Check out her full video link below. It's fantastic. The mail is hand-canceled at each destination, and then once it reaches Barkerville, it enters the regular mail system for delivery anywhere around the world. Anyone can order a special commemorative cachet stamped with the phrase "carried by dog team" and hand-canceled at the post offices along the route. These are beautiful pieces of postal history, especially if you love winter-themed or dog-themed stamps. Here's a fun fact. The design for this stamp was actually unveiled at this very event back in 2011 before its official release later that year. Now, if you've got a keen eye for detail, you may have noticed one more interesting finding about these stamps. These stamps are actually stamp-on stamps, which means that these stamps feature images of other stamps inside their design. And if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that Stamp-on Stamps is the primary topical collection of my dad's. He recently completed an incredible project, an album showcasing every Canadian Stamp-on Stamp issue, plus Canadian stamps that have been featured on other countries' Stamp-on Stamp designs. And of course, these two unique mail delivery stamps are included in his album. In the next episode, I'll sit down with him and go through his collection and showcase some of the stunning postal items that he's collected to highlight these stamps. So stay tuned for part 2. Well, that's it for today's episode. What do you guys think of these stories? Would you spend a full day's wages to post a barrel full of mail? Are any of you guys thinking of getting a dog sled cachet? Let me know in the comments, and of course if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, stay safe and stay curious. Bye for now!